I had a rather colorful youth, if you will.
Jim Keyes was the youngest of 7 children. His mom and dad split up when he was just 5. And at 10 years old, he was caring for his father, who was dying from cancer, living in a tiny 3-room house with no running water on the outskirts of Worcester, Massachusetts.
Interestingly, I never had a sense of need or poverty because we had the basic necessities.
None of his brothers and sisters graduated from high school. The 3 boys got factory jobs, and his sisters were both pregnant by age 16. But his father, Harold Keyes, had much higher hopes for his youngest son.
My father wanted so badly for me not to go back to the factory, not to stay in the cycle of so many people in mill towns and factory towns where generation after generation do the same thing.
Jim already knew the results of going the other way and stayed in school.
I just did what I had to do. I put my head down and worked very hard.
And he did just that, going to work for McDonald's at age 15.
I was a pretty good burger flipper. When asked to go clean the parking lot, I would literally run around the parking lot. But I learned very quickly that that hard work is rewarded.
But something nagged him about his dad's insistence that he stay away from those factories in Worcester.
For one summer, I decided I need to understand what it is he didn't want me to go back to. My job was to take big blocks of abrasives and to cut them into small blocks of abrasives. To me, that was a motivation. I'm going to make more blocks so I can make more money.
Jim says he learned a lesson of a lifetime from lifelong factory workers who cornered him.
They would take me aside and say, Jim, you're working too hard. The idea is not to make more blocks. The idea is to make just enough blocks. And they were going to show me one way or another that I had to conform to the rules.
But conforming was not in Jim's game plan. His grades were good. He saved enough money to get into Holy Cross, where he graduated cum laude with his family's first college degree. Then he worked double shifts as a produce truck driver to pay his way through Columbia University Graduate School, where he learned another big lesson.
So I go off to the white-collar world, and I have an internship at Gulf Oil Corporation, and lo and behold, I ran into the same thing. Recognizing that whether it's a factory floor or a white-collar environment, there's still a tremendous amount of pressure to conform.
The nonconformist intern then took a chance. He told Gulf's senior management he thought they were wasting a lot of money on poor productivity. Impressed by his guts, Gulf hired him.
My first role was in the corporate planning department and looking at expense reduction opportunities.
The hatchet man.
I was the hatchet man, yeah.
He then went to work on Gulf's acquisition of City Service Petroleum. But as things worked out, Chevron ended up buying Gulf and 7-Eleven bought City Service. And Jim Keyes went to work for the Thompson family.
I saw the opportunity with 7-Eleven owning an oil company like Citgo. If we could put those two strengths together, then we could be dominant in the convenience or retail gasoline business.
His plans for 7-Eleven worked out so well, he soon became one of the youngest CEOs in the country.
And then what? Is that all there is? Thank you very much, and let's have some fun today.
Jim's answer was to create a way to increase shareholder value.
Hi, kids.
And do something significant for the community all at the same time.
The inspiration for the Education is Freedom Foundation then came from the selfish need for trained employees in the workforce and the desire then to build those employees by going into the schools and guaranteeing a scholarship for hardworking kids.
W.H. Adamson High School in Dallas is one of 3 pilot programs.
If you can somehow break through all the clutter of all the people out there telling you you can't.
Keyes Foundation guarantees participants money to go to college if they maintain a B average. Jim is now looking for new adventures and challenges.
I had always wanted to be a pilot.
After retiring from 7-Eleven last November at the ripe old age of 50.
Clear?
He's been flying himself for better than 25 years now. And while soaring in his Beach Bear is pure joy for Jim, he says this also sharpens his business skills.
You know, you'd be amazed that there are a lot of similarities between piloting an aircraft and managing a corporation. Aviation is certainly, as in is in the business world about risks, but it's about calculated risks and making decisions with the best information you can have to minimize the risk associated with any decision.
And while he pilots his way to his next business risk, Jim says he'll never forget where he needs to land.
The opportunity to leave the world a better place, to change the world, is something that I think is all part of being American.